So very quickly, I'm going to give you a quick intro into the company, who we are, and so on, and give you an idea where we're at. Take you back to my final year in school very, very quickly. I'm doing my final exams. I've got two teachers that I'm in deep conversations with. One is my math teacher, one is my physics teacher. The math teacher says to me, "Terry, you're not putting the time and the effort in. We think you should drop down to the pass class." And I said, "There's absolutely no way I'm going to do that. I need to get into college and all that kind of stuff." My physics teacher comes along and says, "Terry, we're doing a mock exam. I didn't do particularly well." And I said, "I know, I get it." He was my soccer coach as well. And I said, "I'll leave the class. I'll go down to pass if you want me to go down to pass." And he said, "No, because I see where you're struggling. I'm going to help you." So fast forward to 2005, I leave my job. I go to work in Africa in 4 different schools on the border of Lesotho in southern Africa. I don't speak the language, they don't speak the language, and we have all manner of problems trying to build lessons in these classes. I'm running a HIV awareness program. I'm getting frustrated every day. I can't find resources. I can't do what I want to do. And I feel as a teacher that I was failing every day. Fast forward to 2012, I spent a lot of my career in ed tech, large publishers, building out technology solutions. And we decided in 2012, myself and my co-founder, we were going to leave and we were going to build something because we'd seen the solutions in the market, said these don't scale. And the reason they don't scale is a couple of reasons. One is, I can build an adaptive learning profile all day for a student. I still have the problems of the teachers saying, I get the data, but what do I do next? Where do I go find the resources and how do I align them to standards? And we looked at that specifically and said, there's a workflow here that doesn't exist in the market. We hear about the personalized learning and adaptive companies and whatever your definition needs to be, and we don't think they scale. So myself and my CTO at the time left and we said we're going to solve that problem. Don't know how we're going to solve it. So we put a machine learning team in Dublin and we started building out from 2012 for the next few years an adaptive learning workflow that was going to do that. We did a seed round in Dublin, in Ireland. I moved over here 2 years ago after we did a seed round here in the US, and we built Fishtree. And Fishtree, the name Fishtree comes from the Einstein quotation, which is, everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it's stupid. Now, there's a debate as to whether you actually said that. I don't care. I think the statement of what we're doing, it's perfect. And we set about doing this. Now, there were a number of iterations of this, and the platform basically allows an instructor or a teacher to pull from all the resources they have available: open education content, paid for content, assessments, real-time content, user-generated content, and what I call make some sense of the madness. But to do that, we needed to figure out a way of aligning those resources to an outcome. And because there are different outcomes like standards across the world, we had to be agnostic of the content, agnostic of the standards. So we built a series of algorithms over the few years that were going to take all of those resources that were available in the district and align them on the fly to an outcome, a competency, or a standard. We started very much in the K-12 space, so it was easier focus in terms of there were standards available. But this is what the platform does. It takes those content, it aligns it to whatever outcome you're looking to drive, and then steps in and says to the teacher, if you're interested in giving each of these students an adaptive learning path, you can do a few things. You can give them an adaptive path, or you can keep them all on the same learning path, but every node of that learning path as they're going through, we're going to step in and say to the student, what that teacher said to me all those years ago, I can see where you're struggling, I'm going to help you. That's why we built Fishtree. And what it's doing is taking a learning profile, what we call the learning DNA, and learning all the time about the interactions of that student. And it's not just based on assessments, right? It's a broader view on behaviors, how they're interacting with each other, how they're interacting with the content, how is that content working for this student versus other students, because it's not always the student's fault, as we know. And our mission, regardless of the market, we started obviously very much in K-12, was to start reducing the costs of building those environments in terms of a content and alignment and so on, but building them in such a way that they're adaptive, they're personalized, they're engaging, driving down the time a teacher takes every day to build those lessons and increasing the quality by making them personalized and adaptive. We started very much in the K-12 space. When the higher ed market heard that we could align to any competency or standard, they said, well, can you align to competencies? Can you allow us to drive down the cost of these courses because they're too expensive, and we can increase the quality by making them adaptive. This is the team. We come from a long history in this market. We understand how to build products. We understand how to, the sales and marketing side of things. We built a strong team across the company. We're still small enough. We raised an initial round of 1.6. We did a second round of 3 million, which we've extended that over the course of the few years. And now we're at a process where we're, what I like to call putting it on steroids. We've got our data points. We've got the platform, it works. We've got proof points. We've got people that will stand up and say, this stuff works. And because of what we built from a technology perspective, we looked at different environments and said, well, this is kind of applicable in a few different areas. So if you look about higher ed, what they're trying to do, driving down the costs, that iron triangle issue, increasing the quality of the courses. But then some of our other partners came to us and said, well, can you align to job skills? And I went, oh, here we go. I know nothing about corporate learning. We're too small for this. We'll give you the platform and see how you get on. And over the last sort of year, what they've done is they've built learning environments for Fiat Chrysler on Fishtree, where we're aligning the resources they have coming from different consultancy companies, open content, and we're aligning that content to the job skills of the junior sales guy selling cars for Fiat Chrysler on a forecourt right to his mobile phone. 105,000 employees across the company that are struggling with how do I be better at my job, how do I close sales, how do I motivate myself, and so on. And it's all automated through Fishtree. Charter Communications have come on the back of that as well and said, well, can you do the same for our customer service people? Now, what we've done as a company is really step back and said, we're really good at tech, right? We'll never build a corporate learning company. We'll never build a higher ed business in the way that you might think. We're really good at this bit. So as a result of that, we work with partners. We give partners access to what we do. We allow them to power up their own environment. So LMSs like Blackboard and Instructure, publishers that want to make their content adaptive or still continue to be that spine of learning, which they all want to do, but allow others to add in OER and make it better. But the biggest learning we've had is that I've been one of those guys for the last 5 years ringing the bell and going, personalized learning is the way to go. We all need to get there. That is a tough job. You know, it's a noisy market. It's a very difficult space to be in. And what we've done is really looked at, we'll give you that opportunity to be personalized learning, but incrementally allow you to start with getting digital in the first place, allow you to start aligning resources, and then move into a more personalized environment. That's been a big learning for us. It's a very pedestrian market in that way. It takes a long time to bring your community with them, but in K-12 and higher ed and in corporate, we've got people standing up saying, this stuff works better than anything else we've seen before. Districts like Columbus, Hartford, different districts across the country, bigger districts that are replacing textbooks using Fishtree, using open education content. They're getting better outcomes. This is not all down to Fishtree, but they're getting better outcomes. Good implementation is important. And we've got partners across the space in the US that are covering these channels for us. We sit there, stick to the knitting, do what we're good at, build a great platform, and allow them to build it out. If you're interested in talking to us, there's my email address. Give us a shout if you're interested in partnerships. If you're interested in this space, you just want to have a general conversation about what we do, please give me a call. I'd be happy to have a chat with you. Thank you.